Are we live? I think we might be live. We didn't test this time. We're just kind of going live. So we are going to be revisiting undervolting and overclocking with Vega 56 today. Two different things from last time. This time we have the hybrid mod going, and we've also got the new drivers, which I think are called 18.1. So 18.1 should theoretically be better for undervolting and overclocking from what we've seen so far. And I think that might have more of an impact this time than our previous stream, where the drivers were still pretty new and weren't fully functioning. So I think we're good to go. And chat is telling me yes, we are live. So here's what we've got set up. Maybe Andrew can show some of it. First of all, we've got the Radeon settings stuff. I can also use Watt tool and stuff like that. But we're going to focus on Radeon settings, because, I mean, it got a driver push, so I'd like to see if it works properly. Firestrike is right here. We might use some other stuff as well. We have a old phone setup that's being used as a tool for reading wirelessly from our current clamp, which is today doubling as a volt or a digital multimeter. So right now we're reading amps coming out of the 12-volt cables going to the video card. This is a Thermocouple Reader, and it's got two readings on it. Only one of them is really relevant, the top one. So that top number is going to be the, we're getting drop frames. So let me see if I can fix that. Let's fix the drop frames. Okay, we're going down to, let's go to change the stream encoding to very fast. Really shouldn't be on the CPU side. Let's go down to 8 megabits. 8,000, apply, okay. All right, let me know if that fixed it. CPU, 20%, okay. CPU should be handling it. All right, how's it going? How's it looking now? So oh, by the way, I just got a notice today that said Google Fiber will be available now to this location. So if this is a problem today, it's not going to be a problem in the future. We're using a 7900X to stream, actually. So the CPUs really should be fine. Should just be the internet at this point. I think we're good, though. OBS is telling me we're good at this point. We're not dropping frames anymore. We dropped 27% of them at start. Okay, so let's walk through this again. Still stuttering, someone's saying? Still drop frame. Can someone reliable tell me if we're dropping frames or not? Still getting some chop. Okay, how about now? Okay. We're not uploading anything, I don't think, so. Okay, what CPU are you streaming? 7900X. Really, is it still dropping? Because OBS, well, okay, let's see, 2748, 2809. All right, let's, you know what, Time Warner? Let's go down to 6 megabits per second. Apply. Okay, looks good, better, good now. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. All right, I'll keep an eye on that. We had to drop down to 6 megabits per second. If things get better, I'll try and do better, but that's what we're gonna do for today. So, all right, let's go back over what I was going over. So here we have Radeon settings. We have 3D Mark, like I said, as a validation tool. We'll use other stuff as well. Big note here, part of overclocking and undervolting with the Vega card right now includes validation with software. So I don't know what these drivers have done, but previously you couldn't really trust the frequency readout. You had to just go based off of scores and see if it improved. Here's the phone that we're using to read out currently the current, the amperage, going down the 12-volt PCIe cables to the video card. And then going back over this, now that we're hopefully not stuttering anymore. So going back over this, the top number is one of the hotspots. So it's a MOSFET readout for one of the hotter MOSFETs on the card. So we want that to be below 100C, which should be no problem at all. Bottom number is just it's another thermocouple that's not really placed properly, so we're going to ignore that. Okay, so that's most of the setup. Over to the other side, we have the system. I don't know how visible it'll be with the light we have over there, but it is currently set up with a Thermocouple CLC. So we've got the Flow 360 millimeter CLC, and that is set up to the GPU. And then we have some little heat fins sticking off of the MOSFETs, which are just cooled by a fan on top of it. So there's a fan on top of the, just sitting straight on top of the PCB, blowing down at the FETs. And we've got all these fans turned down to like 45% right now, 45 to 75% because of the stream. So we're gonna be a bit hotter than I'd like, but I'd rather not blow out the audio with fan noise. So, so that's what we're working with. So that's the setup. Let's, first of all, this is brought to you by Thermocouple. They do make the Flow 360 millimeter CLC that's on the card, which we used in our hybrid mod. And that it should be on Amazon by now. So if you're interested in it, check it out there. We've replaced the fans. So I've noticed some people don't like that I used a Noctua fan and 2 Corsair fans, which, by the way, have different color LEDs. One's a light blue and one's white. So I'm sorry if that bothers you, but that's what we went with. Ran out of the Corsair ones and threw a Noctua one on there. And then we've got the Thermocouple Flow 360 rad on there with the pump, which is a 4.5 gen pump. One of the faster pumps right now, which is what I was going for. So Weeb did a $10 donation and said, take this and buy tendies. I will do that. I'm not sure. We're going to be in Seattle for PAX in the next 2 weeks, I think, next week. So there are good chicken tender places there. We will take that $10 and use it appropriately. Thank you. Okay, so let's start off with just seeing if this stuff works, because last time it didn't really work. Oh, you know what? We have something new. Let me see if this works. Is this working? Let's see if that works. So we're trying to, this is actually a crazy setup too, but hopefully that's outputting the screen and we can get a direct feed. So we're set to custom mode, and that's what we need to use. I can hit a power target up to 242%. It doesn't really fully apply. We're gonna stick to 50 right now because that's what people will actually do in real life. So I can't type in a number, unfortunately. Let's go to 50, apply. We'll switch to watt tool later if we need to. Nothing with memory right now. Let's expand this out. Let's get some kind of Firestrike thing going. Let's just start with a frozen Firestrike output, and then I'll do something more later. But for now, no, we need to be windowed. But for now, we'll start with a frozen output. Windowed mode, yes, run, okay. All right, it's working, sweet, okay, cool. So while this is starting up, the way we ended up doing the picture-in-picture is basically I've got a capture card hooked up, pointed at that machine, and it's supposed to do a direct feed into this machine. We're not able to get OBS to detect it, but I can get a window viewer that comes with the capture card drivers to see the output. And then we open that on that machine, the streaming one, and point OBS as a window capture at it. So it's kind of a hack, but it's working, theoretically. Okay, so get all this open. Firestrike's kind of freaking out. And let's see how this starts, how this looks for the new drivers. Okay, we're just gonna pause at the same place we did last time, right here. And see our current readout is 16.4 amps. Oh yeah, I guess you can't even see that with this setup. So we're at 16.4 amps right now. And this is just with a 50% power target, and with everything else, oh no, it's not stock actually. I had previously done some undervolting on here to see if it worked. So let's reset that. Go to custom mode, and power limit 50%, okay. So before I apply this, here's what we're at. We're at 15.9 amps, and that's before applying anything. So let's just go ahead and apply these changes. Apply. So we should have much higher now, yeah. So now we're at 23.6 amps going out of there, and that's, what is that? Where's the calculator? 23, oh, it's 23.4 to 6, so let's do that. So that's roughly 289 watts right now. And if we, I'm outputting this screen right now. so you don't need to capture it this time. So we're at 289 watts. And if we do some undervolting, let's see what happens. Well, first of all, let's see if it even works this time. 1592, apply. So 23.6 is what we're reading. And you know what? Let's just take a voltage reading off the back of the card too. So that's going to require me moving around to the other side of the table to check that. So how are we measuring current with your phone? We are using a current clamp. Actually, we can show you that in a second because I'm about to show you the volt readout. I don't know if, Andrew, it might be better to show this once I do a reading, but we'll see. And maybe I'll try and get it to read it. That might fall over. I'll try and get it to read out on the clamp and make it visible. Excuse me. Okay, so let's show this for a second. I think we're outputting that, yeah. All right, so excuse the mess. This is just because of the streaming setup. So I'm gonna switch this over to volts DC. This is the current clamp. Oh yeah, do we wanna point this at that? How's that look? That's the best we can do right now. Current clamp is around the 12 volt cables. I've got ground in one of the Molex, and now I'm gonna take a volt readout. We are getting 1.3. Come on, 1.3, okay. So that's the V core readout, 1.3 is what I'm seeing. Let me switch this back to current. So 1.3 volts, it is working. The software is relatively accurate in that regard. Now we need to do some actual undervolting. Let me check the chat here. Are you guys planning on doing Vega testing with EK blocks, etc.? Seeing that you got a custom loop on stream. Not sure right now. I'm not sure about Vega. We'll do some stuff with EK, some more anyway. What's your one-line review of Threadripper? That is really difficult to answer. Could you not bring the camera around? No, it's on a tripod. I wrote a and a donation too. Super chat. What's your one-line review of Threadripper? Okay, I wrote an article and did a video on this. I don't know if I can compress it to one line, so I'll compress it to a few seconds. Threadripper was highly performant. We'll use that word for production tasks. It did well in Premiere and Blender. There were a couple others as well. I think Pavre did okay, and also really good for streaming while gaming for the most part. Like there were some problems where the 7900X was still a good bit better with the gaming portion of it, but Threadripper did really well keeping up with the actual streaming portion. So there's plenty of room there to decide what you need. The review does a good job of breaking that down. I'm not going to try and do it today. But yeah, it's good at some things. It's not great at other things, but that's kind of the idea of hardware is like no piece of hardware can do everything really well. Threadripper does some stuff exceptionally well. It does some other stuff not as well as its competition. That's what it boils down to. Okay, so everything's working. We got volt readouts on the back of the card. Let's drop this down to 1100 millivolts on each option. I might switch to watt tool because it's easier. And what's our current readout? So we just dropped from 24.6 to 19.8. And if I just do a quick 19.8 times 12.3. So we're at 243 watts now, and we were at 280 something, I think. So that's what we're looking like over here. Yes, we do have screen capture today. Yeah. So there's what we have for current readout. That's at 1100 millivolts, so 1.1. I'll do another volt check in a minute once we get a little bit lower. We were at 1.3 originally. So this says 1592. Let's get GPU-Z open. This may still be inaccurate. I'm not sure if the frequency is reading properly now with the new drivers. We're on 18.1 for anyone who missed that. This reads 1590. This says 1592, so the rounding is corrected for. We're not going to do anything with clock yet. Go down to 1080. That's not enough. Let's do like 1070. 1070. Is it subliminal advertising? No. 1070 millivolts. So this is putting us at, oh, we do get a drop there. 18.7. God, this scale is awful on this current readout. So 18, what is that a drop? 18.6 times 12.3, 228. Okay, it was a little bit of a drop. Let's try 1040. I need to like actually validate this with something running. We're just doing this for now to get a ballpark because it is working better than previously. This still shows 1590. This is still running. 1040 millivolts. We're reading 17.2 amps, which puts us at 211. And we started, as a reminder, roughly like 24.5 or something. That's a little bit high, I guess. We were at 289 originally, I think. So we are dropping, and we're holding clock rate, allegedly. Let's go to, at some point, that should either downclock or crash. I'm not sure how the new drivers behave. 1020, we're not overclocking memory yet. Okay, it's working. This is actually this is pretty exciting. So, like, last time, this did not really work that well. Last time, basically, I'd type in numbers and it'd try to apply and then just kind of not do it. Like, it'd apply for a little bit for Firestrike or something. The minute I closed it and opened something else, we go back up to full power draw, full voltage at 1.2 or 1.3 through the back. So, yeah, it looks like we're actually doing better this time. Like, the drivers are actually responding. Frequency is reportedly holding, so we're not downclocking. We'll have to see if it still has that clock reporting bug, though. How are we doing on chat here? So for chat, any questions? No, just the last one was the one-line Threadripper review question. Okay. All right, let's see what else we can do with this. So let me show this.
Yeah, can you set up the phone that way?
Yeah, I'll try to do that. Let's see if I can just do, what if I put it right there? Or do you want me to prop it up on something? So we've got a 16 amp reading, which is actually about what it says when we set it to complete stock without the overpower setup. Do you want me to prop it up on like this? I don't know, just higher, or do you want it propped?
Propped.
Okay, let's try and do this. Without a thermocouple getting sucked into the fan, ideally. What's our temperature? We're at 45C on the hotter MOSFET. What's ambient? Ambient is 26C. Okay. All right. Frames dropped. Ryan, are we actually dropping frames? Okay, so what can we do further than this? We're currently at 1590 and 1020. I would expect it would start not working at some point. Are we downclocking yet? No reported downclocking. I think we're going to need to validate this with a benchmark, though. Okay, so we're apparently still working. We're at 15.5 amps for sure. I mean, that doesn't lie. I don't know that the software does, but it's easy enough to find out. Okay, so we're at 980 millivolts. We're allegedly holding 1590 over here. Let me do another readout of the just stream the phone screen to the PC. Yeah, we've got enough problems setting up the stream. That's another thing to break. All right, let me check over here. Okay, so we have what? Are you getting a voltage readout on the phone right now?
Yes.
Okay. 1.0, that is down. We were at 1.3. So that it looks like it's working. We were at 1.3 versus 1.2 in software. And tripping on lights over here. And now we're at 980 millivolts and 1 point something lower, 1.0. So it looks functional. So let's stop there. Let's stop there and run a Firestrike test and just validate with performance. Make sure it's not lying to us before we get too excited. Firestrike. Okay. And I'll look at chat while this runs. No, do not include the demo, and we only need graphics. Run. Okay, all right, that's running. Let me check chat. So, chat options, looks good. Okay, so people are saying the drop frames are done, I guess. That's what I want to hear. New question in super chat. Daniel says, Daniel $5. Thank you, Daniel. says, with V-core down now, can you increase the power to the memory for better HBM overclock? So we've got a couple mods on this card, but basically the goal, we've got two goals today. One goal is to, I'll just leave this set up like this, I guess. So one goal today is to just do undervolting first. So we're going to see how low we can get the voltage while keeping a stable clock that actually either performs the same as previously or ideally a little bit better. I'm shooting for like an extra 25 to 50 megahertz over stock because I'd like to see the performance improvement that often accompanies a lower voltage. And okay, there we go. So it doesn't like it when there's a change. So that's the first goal, just straight undervolting. Next goal is we'll look at some overclocking toward the end of this, and then I'll roll that into our hybrid part 2 coverage or part 3 coverage at this point with the results. And theoretically, to answer your question, we should be, I can't manually control where the power goes. I don't have that level of control, but I can, as we reduce V-core, we should get some extra power budget. Now, does that matter? Not really, because if I start overclocking the thing, like legitimately overclocking it, it's just not going to be stable on the lower V-core. We're still going to want to go back up to 1.2. So I think what we're going to see is two different types of results. We're going to see lower power consumption with the same or better performance, going for better, because otherwise it's not that fun. And then the other option is the switch to current. Sure, let's. Oh, they want a shot of the current. And then the other option is overclocking with an actually high clock, and then who cares about the power consumption? I'm going to go for as high power as we can hit with this modded registry. So here's what we were doing previously with the old drivers. What are we doing today? So we have a 15, here's a stock. So stock, here's what we had previously. So we had stock at 18892 score in Firestrike. Stock plus 50% power was 2769. We're at 2338. There's some variance here, so we can just call them pretty much the same. So we're at the same with a 50% power offset, and with the clock untouched at 1590. We're getting basically the same output today with a lower power consumption. So that's good. We need to switch back to current on the readout. Let me do that. So let's see if we're actually getting that lower power draw that we wanted. Oh, knocking over boxes now. All right. So let's, what's our current readout look like for this setup? Okay. Score's looking good though. Score's definitely the same as the 50% offset with lower power in theory. We're about to find out. Okay. Any other questions here to go over? No signals, because yeah. So when you see no signal, it's just because the benchmark's changing resolutions. Okay, so our current readout says 16 amps. So that is in fact lower. We were at 20. Let's just call it 23 to 25. Give myself some room there. It's about 23, 24, and that's with a 50% power offset and stock clocks. Now we're at 15 amps, which comes out to some quick math here. Let's call it 15.5, 15.7 is maybe more fair. And it's 12.3, 193 watts. Previously, let's do a 24. Previously, we're at 295, so we're like 100 watts lower. I need to see if the score is the same, but it looks like it's about the same. So I don't run to the hills with those numbers yet, but it's looking good so far. What's the point of this video? 95% people don't care to overclock, nor care about it. Well, it's fun, and it teaches us about the hardware, and we can learn about the power consumption, and we can learn about how you can fine-tune the power consumption. You know, people may not care to overclock, but a lot of people sure screamed and yelled about the power consumption on the card. And so to those people, I would say, if you wanted Vega, but you were upset about the power consumption, here's your solution. And We're not sure if it works fully yet, but it's looking pretty good. These results are not guaranteed on all of your cards, but it is looking pretty good so far. Will there be a separate video, or is this live stream only? So the main stuff will be in the live stream, but I'm going to pull, so this is just preliminary, like learning. I'm going to pull all of this data and turn it into a normal article and video after. I'm going to need to do some more work on this after the stream ends, because streaming and actually doing real work is a little difficult. So we are currently at 2237, so we're a little bit lower. Stock plus 50%, 20,800. 50% stock frequency, lower voltage. We are like 1% or less below that, so we're looking pretty good. Now we need to see what kind of clocks we can hit without this thing crashing or forcing a clock drop. So let's just go back to this setup, windowed mode, and go that route next. Is that GPU or total system power? That, is it on Amperage? Yes. That is the PCIe cables going to the video card. So it says 0.9 right now. That's 0.9 amps, and it's going to go up as this software launches. That's going to the video card through the PCIe cables. It's not measuring what's going through the PCIe slot, but on these AMD cards, that tends to be very little, for Vega, that is, as opposed to previously. So that's pretty close to the power you're actually drawing. The PCIe slot is more or less responsible for things like the fan power, and we don't even have that fan connected anymore. So, okay. Where's GPU-Z? Where'd that go hide? I'm interfering with the benchmark, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're showing 1590. Okay, let's just freeze this. And let's pull this over here. And then we're currently on we're showing the monitor and that right now, so you've got a small screen for that. So let's go up to 1612, which I'm just doing because there's a rounding error anyway, so apply that. GPU-Z thinks it's 1612, as many of you know from our content. It's hard to know if that's actually the frequency until we validate it. Let's just see if we can break it. Let's just, what was the max last time, 1980? Let's just try that first. So this should not work. It looks like it failed, which would be fantastic. Like that would actually make me happy, because that means the frequency wouldn't be misreporting like it was earlier. Okay, this looks good. So we need to restart now, which is what I wanted. Restarting, okay. So quick update, typing in 1980 megahertz does actually break it, which if you missed the previous content, that did not break it. It just told you it was 1980 megahertz. and that was wrong. But now it appears to actually break properly. So the frequency might be reporting properly now, which if it is, fantastic job by the AMD driver team for fixing that quickly. So that was kind of it was very annoying just because we didn't know what was actually going on. Kill it with fire. We are not going to kill it with fire. I think we're fully capable of generating fire, but I don't think we want to kill it with fire. Okay. All right, so let's get this going again. What do we need here? GPU-Z. We need Wattman or Watt tool. Let's stick with Wattman because it seems like it's actually working now. And I'd like to use what AMD includes for now. Watt tool is pretty nice, but it has bugs of its own as well. Although, I don't know, some of that stuff looks like it's fixed now. Okay, so clearly the frequency thing is at least partially resolved, and it's reporting the correct frequency now. That makes me happy. Windowed mode, demo included, yes, run, okay. Any questions while this is launching? Where is the overlaid multimeter? We're pretty close, we're getting there. So right now, we've got it on the phone. I set it up so that the current clamp can also be a digital multimeter. So I've got it kind of set up, we're getting there. Where can we get GN wallpapers? So yeah, that new wallpaper, I don't think we've shown that before publicly. It's like the GN dark logo. I'll see what I can do. We can probably do like a wallpaper pack and distribute it. It's I think it's just made in Blender, right? So it's just made in Blender, we can just render it out whatever size we want. Will you make the same type of stream with Vega 64? I'm not sure. We will work with Vega 64. I don't know if we'll do the same type of stream, but we'll work with it. Because I just got one in, and I have 2 coming in from a reader. So that'll be pretty cool. Okay, so let me switch. Yeah, we'll keep undervolting. Don't worry about it. I just want to, before I go too far with undervolting, I want to make sure it's actually working and make sure I understand part of the software. So like I said previously, this is not me coming in here with a game plan knowing how the software works now. This is me coming in here knowing how it worked previously and hoping it works better now. And I'm learning on stream with you all. So this is my process of learning if things are actually functional. Okay, so let's go back down to 980 millivolts. That's where we were before. Did it work? Oh, we need to offset the power too. 50% power offset. Apply, okay. Does it work? Did it go down? Let's go back up to 1200. So we're at 14.4. I'm applying 1200 now. Okay, 24. What else happened when I did that? Okay, cool. So here you go. This is me showing you that it seems to be working. 23.4 amps, right? We're at 50% power offset. We're at 1200 millivolts, 1.2 volts. Let's go down to 980, which appears to be at least partially stable. It might be unstable when we launch a game. Drop 10 amps right there, which is like more than 100 watts. So that's pretty cool. What do we need to do next? Let's see if we can get the clock any higher. With we'll find out if this is reliable or not. I'll have to do a validation through software, like I said. 1650. It applied. Does it hold or does it crash? And what's our amperage? We're still at the same current, 15.8. Well, I mean, not the same. It's a bit okay. That was a big jump. That was a huge jump. So it looks like it's trying to compensate and stay alive because we just jumped back up to 22. So we're clearly not. Yeah, let's do a. Let me do a multimeter reading on this just because I'm curious. Okay. So this says 19 amps. We were at 14 something. What are we at now? Is that showing volts on the phone? 1.2 volts. That is not 0.98. That's not 1.0 either. So it's not working anymore. We've lost the undervolting, which I think is because I went too low and it's trying to keep the thing alive. So lesson learned here, if you think it worked and you don't really have a direct feed of the current draw, I need to switch back, then it might not actually be staying where it said it was in software. So it doesn't look like there's just a hard crash. Memory speed graph is blocked. Yeah, it's not changed either though. I mean, I haven't touched the memory speed. It's just stock. So, okay, so that's clearly not working. So let's, still at 50 offset. Let's take it back up. Let's go up to 1050. Because that is not stable since it's overvolting itself back to stock to try and hold. Let's get a baseline, 1200. I'll check questions in a second if anyone has any. 1200, there's our baseline, 24, and that's 1.3 if you check the back of the card. Okay, so how is 1080? That seems fairly conservative. 1080 millivolts with an overclock applied, mind you. So not really a change. I mean, it's kind of hard to say if that's gonna hold or not. So I'm thinking we might have pushed the clock too far. I mean, yeah, it is a bit lower, I guess, but okay. So let's bring the clock down. So we were at 1592, and that was stable, and it was showing a good score. So the same score as previously without the undervolt. So let's bring it up to how about just like a modest 1620. That's a 30 megahertz overclock. 1620. Let's bring this up as well. 1100. Apply. Okay, close this and launch that. Okay, custom, graphics only, windowed. Do not include the demo, run, okay. All right, so let's see how that goes. I'm gonna check some questions while we're here. I'll move the windows around in a second. 3 cards coming in. Yes, we will be trying your suggestion. 1920 megahertz, 1080 millivolts, best combination. Yeah. Don't know that it'll work. Will you make the same stream? No, read that one. Rad Tech, Gamers Nexus. Where can we get GN wallpaper? So yeah, like I was saying, I'll see if we can distribute a pack at least to Patreon and maybe push something just to Twitter or something, and then we'll go from there on those. Yeah, it's gonna mess things up a bit, but whatever. Okay, so 1622 we're holding, allegedly. Next question. What are the GPU temps with your CLC hybrid mod? So let's find out. 32 Celsius reported temperature. Now, here's the thing. The reported temperature seems to be a little inaccurate with this software. I don't know if it's from the... I don't know if it's from... Oh, physics turned back on. Oops. I don't know if it's from the sensor just having a normal range. So these sensors have like a... I don't know, plus or minus 2 Celsius if it's a K-type, which is not. It's probably a thermistor or something else. It's got some variance or inaccuracy, but basically, even though Wattman and Afterburner will show a temperature, when it's idle, it'll show a temperature of like 19C, which is below ambient. So it's impossible without exotic cooling. Ambient was 22 when I was seeing 19C GPU temperature, so it's definitely not really correct, but this is reporting 32 right now. We do have a 360 rad on there, and it's got 3 fans at half RPM, like 50% RPM. So I do believe that it's a good temperature, but I just don't know the level of accuracy. Yeah, the 50% is throwing us off. We'll work on it. So again, a bug with reported temperatures. Yes, there's. I don't know if it's a bug. It might just be that the sensor in there is inaccurate. So if that's the case, it should be inaccurate by the same amount, just all across the scale. If it's like an NTC or a thermocouple, like a K-type normally is. But I don't know. I don't really know what we should be expecting for a temperature offset at idle. After all the adjustments, how much wattage does the card need? We haven't found out yet. It's still drawing more than I want it to. It's still, what is it pushing, like 20 still? Yeah. Still pushing 21, which is too high because we're offset 50%. You know, let's get rid of this. Let's see if we can go back to 1590. Might start using Watt tool just to make sure. 1590 at 1100. Let's apply that. We're gonna mess up our score. That's fine. This is gonna run physics now? No, okay. All right, well, that's not really telling us anything because our power consumption is still kind of high. So back to the drawing board on this. Demo. What do we need to do here? We've got, I don't want to touch HBM. 1592, 1100, okay, let's see if it just holds a lower value this time. Any more questions in the meantime? Can you check temperature with thermal probes and don't trust the sensors? The problem with that is I'd have to get a thermocouple in there, and those are going to be tall enough that it's going to mess up my cooling. We're not going to get full coverage everywhere unless I just dump a truckload of thermal paste on it, and then the transfer is just going to be bad. So I could attach a thermocouple to it, but it's just, I mean, even with the 1/100th inch thick ones, it's still going to be too much, especially when HBM is as sensitive as it is. I don't want to risk not cooling the HBM because I've stuck a probe in there on the GPU, which would increase the height elsewhere. So I don't have a good way to get a direct reading. Not one that's any more accurate than this is anyway. Okay, so 19 amps. Looks okay. See, here's the thing. As soon as I do anything with frequency, we're going to lose the power advantage. Let's bring it back to 1070 and just run a test at 1070, stock frequency. I'm kind of tempted to drop the offset, the power offset, but I really don't want to because that was the whole point of this originally. We're still at 19. Okay, is this even working at this point? 1040. Apply. I'm not convinced that's working right now. Where's watt tool? Okay, watt tool. Let's see. So this is showing what I've typed in. Just hit set here. Okay, we're getting some movement. I don't know that it's really working like it was earlier. Nah, yeah, I mean, it's just not changing anymore. So I think we hit some trigger where it's not happy. Let's just do a restart on this. So that's clearly not working at this point. Okay. So let's check stuff while that reboots. Can you run a test 1050 megahertz? So I think you're asking me 1050 megahertz. Oh, to compare with the Fury X. We kind of did that with Vega FE. So yeah, I already did that a little bit. I don't know that I'm going to redo it right now. But search the channel or the website for Fury X Vega clock for clock or something like that. You'll find we did that previously. It was FE though. Okay. Why aren't these cards not specified to be built according to the lowest wattage voltage amperage possible? There is, that was posted by Jean-Pierre, there's variance between every GPU. So just like CPUs, all GPUs are not created equal. I think AMD's gone a little bit heavy on the voltage. They seem to do that in general. But from what I've learned, there's a few things to it. One, the GPUs aren't equal, and they're certainly not going to fine-tune every single card that comes off the line to make sure it's got a volt frequency curve that is optimal. They're just going to do the best for all products. And then I also recently learned that AMD tries, well, any of the vendors really, try to make sure clocks remain stable in more extreme ambient conditions. So I don't know why, I don't know the full details to that. But if you've got a higher ambient, I guess that might explain why the fan curve is a little aggressive in some environments, because they're tuning for worse conditions. So there's always room for you to improve things, which is kind of good and kind of bad depending. Okay, so this time I'm going to, we'll just see if it works anymore. Custom run. Does it work? I think we're a little low here. Let's bring that up to 1080 again. Actually, let's start at 1200. Start at our baseline, 1200. I'll switch the scene in a second. Okay, so we're at baseline again. What is the ASIC of the card? It's an RX Vega 56, if that's what you're asking. If you're asking the ASIC quality, I don't know. Yeah, Silicon Lottery does control, not the website, but the Silicon Lottery, so to speak, does control a lot of how the cards perform at different clocks and voltages and things, which is why they just set a blanket setting for all of them. Could still be, I would think it could still be lower, but I don't know. Maybe they have a really wide range. Okay. Thank you, Windows 10. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you, Windows. I appreciate it. Yes, that's great. Can we stop now? Okay. All right. So 1592, 1200, 23 point something amps. Let's bring this down again. Got to be careful or Windows will take control. 1100, 1100. I know that should hold. Okay, so we've seen some change there. So it's working. It's back to functional. We've dropped 24 watts by going to 1100. Let's go for a little bit more. No, that's too much. Let's try 1080 again. 1080. Let's do this incrementally. Do we drop from 21? Not really. $10.50. Not really a change. Oh, there's a drop. Okay, but we've changed scenes too. So just to demonstrate, 1200. Okay, 24 amps, all right. And now 1150. We go down to 21, so we've dropped 3, it's 36 watts. 1120, 1120, apply. 20, okay. So drop another couple watts. Let's hold there. Let's just stop. My goal is to get this number down to like 17, because that would be the same power consumption as stock, and we'd be able to push higher performance, and that's kind of what we did previously, but also we had the driver issues. So let's just try this and see where this gets us. Okay, so Fire Strike, custom run. No. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see where that goes. How's our temperature over here? MOSFETs are at like 40 Celsius, so they're fine. Yeah, the newest drivers have definitely fixed some bugs. Reduce P6 with watt tool, you know, yeah, we should actually start using. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't really trust Wattman yet. Well, let's see how this goes first. We'll mess with watt tool immediately after this, because I keep saying I will. Okay, that's clearly not doing what I want, so we're still higher power consumption than I wanted. So let's, watt tool time. Okay. Yeah, and these are like all turned off. But I wonder if I don't know if we have access to these through Watt Tool or not. Wattman turns them off. 1592. That is not what we want. 1120. Yeah, okay, it just resets for anyone curious. So it's, I mean, they're just disabled right now. So we have P6 and 7. 21, okay, well. So 22, 21, 22. We are lower than we were. We're like 24 watts lower. It's doing something. Definitely not as much as I thought it would immediately, but we can do more here. Can't go under 1.1 volts because P6 is 1.1. Reduce the watt tool. Yeah, I just did that. All right, let me get back to some questions. Anthony Maniatopoulos said, will there be any comparisons on all three cards, FE, 64, 56? Well, we've got FE and 56, and we just had a 64 come in, so the answer should be yes. Why not use Wattman and set P6 as the min? I mean, I kind of did that. It's right there. Okay, so what do we want to do at this point? We can... There's Fire Strike. 20. So we got a score improvement, but I don't know that we got a power consumption improvement. Let's log the next run. So we're at 1.12 right now, and I'm just reading some comments. Watt tool having been updated, it doesn't have the attributes. Yeah. Okay, all right, so let's do Fire Strike. I'm gonna log this run. Just graphics one to be a bit quicker. 1120, 1592, 50% offset. We might not, I don't know. Maybe we should just get rid of that next. Let's run that. Is that what I want? Yes, that is what I want, okay. So let's run that, and then we're gonna record this run. As soon as it starts anyway. And then what I'm going to do is reset all these values and record the next run. And then we'll be able to see, because it moves around so much that it's kind of hard to just eyeball it and know if we're actually getting value here. That's why undervolting, that's why I wanted to live stream it, because it'll make me do more work to see if it's actually applying, first of all. So, I mean, we're at 23. So we'll just let that record and then compare the two log files at the end, because it'll look really good when it's frozen, when Firestrike is frozen. The minute you start actually testing it, everything kind of, you know, fluctuates because bouncing around between different load levels. Yeah, different power, yeah. Different power, different scenes, yes, we know. That's why I'm logging this one, because it's too hard to eyeball it. Okay, please make a water block from the Noctua full cover block, chop up the heat pipes and put flowing water into it. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Put way too much faith. Can you voltage HBM memory for better overclock? I think the answer to that question is no, if I'm understanding you correctly. Do we need both? Yeah, we need both. Okay. What was our power reading like? Let's stop this one. Okay, and then we'll record the next one at 1200 with the same frequency. Apply. Okay. All right. Run custom. Not looking for scores right now. Just trying to. I'm just making sure that undervolting is actually working. And we're going to start this recording once the loading screen pops up. Okay, started. All right. So this will tell us if it's actually functioning and holding. Oh yeah, good call. Well, yeah, I have to set up another DMM. We should do that though. That's a good call. Someone suggested measuring voltage at the core during the test, which I should definitely do that, and we can. I'll just have to swap around where my my volt probes are hooked up, because this thing can only output to it can only output either current or voltage. You can't do both simultaneously. But I have another one I can use. Looks higher though, right? I think that looks higher, which is what we would want to see. That would mean the undervolting's kind of working. All right, so what are these results? We were at, don't make me export this. So 1200, let me switch the scene back to us. Yeah, thermal probe turns off when it's not logging. That's why it died. 1200, okay, so where is our output? Measurements. Okay. So the previous measurement is loading right now. All right, let's export this to the computer. CSV, send. So this is, what did we run this at? 10 something? 1100? Oops. Give me a second, everyone. I'm trying to validate that this functions. Undervolted. Okay, so that is being mailed. And then send out the next one. This was 1200 millivolts. Okay, send. The graph tool on this software doesn't let me pinpoint the current at different points during the test. 1200, send. Okay. Keep the camera there for a sec. We'll pull it over to this screen in a minute once I have these things out of my email. Okay. You guys are probably watching the current readout closer than I was. So if anyone thinks that it was actually working versus not, please let me know what you think. I'm about to drop these into a spreadsheet. Okay, moving everything around. All right, so let's just make a scratch sheet. Okay, and we're going to import this first file. Upload. We'll move this over to the other screen in a second. Downloads, report, records 1. Okay, which one is this? So, for anyone who isn't up to speed, we are moving over the records from the current clamp to make sure it's actually doing something. 1200. Did I download that one first? Import. Almost there. Import. Okay. All right, so what's happening? 23.6. Just making sure I got the right sheets. 23.6, 24.5, 24.4, 23.4, 24.4. Okay, one more. Undervolted. All right, there we go. Okay, so file, import, upload. I'll get back to chat right after this. This last file I need to import. Okay, oh, it looks good so far. Give me a second to generate a chart. Okay, chart. You want to bring the? You can bring the camera over if you want to. So let's do a. Am I outputting to the camera right now? Yes. Okay, so we're just going to do this kind of lazily. Is this, which one's which? This is, okay, this is 1200 millivolts. And we're just going to pull from here down to there. I guess I should set an x-axis, or an x-axis. So x-axis, most boring live stream ever. This is like what we do normally. So, actually, I think these increment in 0.25. Yeah, 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. Okay, all right. So there's that one. Oh, gosh, this chart editor is garbage. Okay. All right, so there's one. Then we want this. Then we're gonna want the other. This one was some lower voltage. Let's call 1100. I think it was actually 1080, but okay. And then this we can set properly. All right. So what do we get? Okay, there's our current output for each test. So the undervolted one is the red line. You getting a? Can you see that okay on the screen? You're gonna get infinity. All right, there we go. Okay. So it looks like it was working. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was working, and the frequency was the same. So that appears to be functional. Now we need to just get it lower. So we were at 24 versus 22. What's our average difference here? Let's get just an average across the run. I'm just gonna grab where it starts and then where it stops load. Okay, it starts here, stops somewhere way up here. $22.76 amps versus 23.7. Okay, so I mean, it looks like kind of works. Okay, let's bring that back over here, and I'll check chat. So maybe, not the most exciting. Try hardware 1120. Thank you, I appreciate it. 1120. Okay, so 1120 was that one. So try hardware Lux's settings of P5 1.613. P5, you said P5, oh, I see. 1.070 millivolts. I did not actually read their article. I did see it go out though. I can try that, yes. Anyone know the app he's using on his phone? So this is the, what do they call it? It's just like Fluke something or other. It's a Fluke app. Does Steve do everything himself? No helpers. Oh, the camera's moving. Super chat. John Figura said for $5. Thank you, John. Left click state 6 column and set to min. It is cycling through state 0 to state 7, not between state 6 and state 7. Also, good luck. Okay, thank you. Let's try that. State 6 column and set to min. Are we talking watt tool or watt man? I'm not that familiar with what tool yet. What was the suggestion? Right-click state 6. So Ryan, if you're moderating chat, keep an eye on that for me. See if John sends through another message to clarify. Camera's controlled by AI. Camera's controlled by Andrew. 22.9 versus 23.7, yes. Okay, so left click, state 6 column, and set to min, cycling through 0 and 7, not between 6 and 7. Left click. Okay, you know, we're gonna, gotcha. I actually did not know that was a feature in Wattman. Interesting. I see, I understand now. Okay, let's see if that works. Thank you, John, I appreciate it. So let's lower this down to 1,000. Maybe that did something. I think you're right. I think it was actually cycling through the other states. Apply. We don't need Watt tool right now. Let's run a quick test. 1,000 might be a little aggressive. That's a little too much. Let's do 1080, and I'll switch the camera back to the other scene. Everyone says hi, Andrew. Andrew's ignoring you. He's operating the camera. Kind of rude, Andrew. All right, so we're applying that 1080 millivolts. Let's see if, now that we've set this to min, thank you for that suggestion. Let's see if that does anything for us. Run custom. Okay. Might as well record this run. I don't think we'll export it again because it's kind of a pain on stream, but we'll keep a closer eye on it though. Okay. 1592 megahertz, 1080 millivolts allegedly. We'll see if it's stable. It may not be stable because of the lower voltage, but we'll find out. Okay. All right, so 21 is what we're reading. That is actually improved. That is better. I mean, it's different for each scene, but it does look lower. It looks like it's actually functioning again, so cool. Yeah, we're at 1080 right now, millivolts. 22.9 was the lowest before. Let me check that for you. The lowest we were at, well, I don't know what was the lowest. For roughly the same scene, we were at 21.9 up to 23.1 or thereabouts. And now with the advice from chat, with the new minimum state set, where are we here? We were a bit lower. Yeah, okay, before I export this, let's do another run. I think we're cooking with fire now. So let's see if we can do 1060 and see if we actually get a readout that's lower. Are we still offset 50? Yes. Okay. Run custom. MOSFETs are looking good. That's just, by the way, that MOSFET temperature in the 40s. I think I don't know what it's going to under load. I think it's under 50 though. That's with a fan at 50% or something over the MOSFETs with just those Arctic cooling aluminum blocks. The cheap heat sinks that are on top of them. They seem to be working pretty well, honestly. But you could get away without those, though. You could definitely just do direct air cooling on those. They're exposed copper. Okay, frequency is holding. 1592, 1060 millivolts. And I'm keeping an eye on our range here. So 21 to 22 something. It looks better. I mean, yeah, that seems better. I'm gonna check chat. See. Nothing in the new drivers. I'm not sure what if that's referring to earlier chat, but there is actually like an improvement in the drivers. Okay, so checking comments. All right, so how did we do here? I'm gonna export this one. So you're gonna have to bear with me for a second. This was at, let's take a note this time, 1060. 1060. And save that note, export, CSV. So this current clamp was recommended by BuildZoid. It's crazy good. I really like the login functionality of it. 1060 millivolts, 1592. Send. Okay, give me a second to pull this up over here. At this point, you're basically watching me do my job. If people like that, though, cool. Okay, so download that. Where's Google? I don't have Excel on here. This one is, what'd you guys say, 1120, right? Was the first one? So that's 1120. And this is going to be 1060, right? Yes, 1060. Okay. File, import. All right, let's import that. Okay, you can bring the camera over. And let's switch to this machine. So let's just do a quick quick chart here. Edit chart. 1060. That's 1060 millivolts. Okay. They're not going to be aligned perfectly, but you know what, Google, you. This new chart editor is garbage. Anyone at Google's listening. Okay, so we want 1060. 1060, okay. Let's do 187. 187. All right. Did it drop? Or is it just not going to show up? Thank you. Is it on the wrong axis or what? Left axis. Left axis. Left axis. So where's our red line? Oh. I import the same file or something? Let's export this again. There's no way that was identical. Saved files, measurements. No, that should have been the right one. Mail. Okay, one more time. If it works, then we'll keep going, because I won't have to do this again after we know it's actually functional for sure. I think it is, though. I saw Hardware Lux posted that article. 1060. All right, send. Yeah. And what's the ambient in here? 26 degrees. Is it obvious? Paula Hamilton, were you going to, are doing a video about the manufacturer cost and how much it costs AMD to make Vega? We've modified that video so many times now. The answer is yes, but it's going through modifications again. I'm waiting for some feedback from them on some stuff, some of the numbers I got. Okay, where's my mail? Okay, if we can work this time, that would be great. File, import. I think the next step will just be overclocking, because it's going to be a little more straightforward in theory. 1060 millivolts, okay. All right, let's bring the camera over. So edit chart. .60 millivolts. Why is that just magically 187 again? Oh, because I'm on the wrong one, maybe. There we go. Oh, yeah, I see what happened. Okay. God, this chart editor. So this used to be the chart editor. And you click this, you put what you want. See how that's wrong? I typed this in like 4 times now. Come on, Google. Give me a break. Thank you. Yeah, okay. That chart editor, every time you click the use old editor button, it's like, give us feedback on how to improve. Google, just go back to the old one. It worked. This one sucks. Okay, 22, so it's working. There you go. There's your evidence that undervolting is working this time. They're not aligned, I'm sorry. So we're at something like, let's pick the low points here. Low point 20.4, that's kind of an outlier. Low point over here, 23, what's this down here? Yeah, it's obviously working. What's this one? So 1080 millivolts, 1080, it's supposed to be 1120. 1120 millivolts. So 1120 millivolts. We were clearly under the 1200 and clearly over 1060. So it's functional and our scores should be about the same. I don't think I need to import these anymore other than maybe one last one. Let's see if we can drop this a little lower. Who wants to, in chat, send me someone wanted me to check against what Hardware Lux was getting. So if someone could send me those numbers again, what did Hardware Lux use? And ours may not do as well, or it may be better, Silicon Lottery and all that. But if someone could send their settings over, let me know, and I will put those in over here and see what we get. Okay, thank you. Hardware Lux's settings, P5, 1613 megahertz and 1070 millivolts. Let me just copy this so I don't lose it. Oh, thank you, Ryan. Okay, Ryan moderating chat. So 1613, 1070 for P6. So 1613. This may not work as well for us as it did for them, as I said. And what was the other one? 1613, 1070. Okay, so they use the same for each one, right? So 1613. Let's see if we can get the same kind of output that they got. Were they 50% offset? Does anyone know? We can either do 50 or we can go down to whatever they use. Let me know. And let's set the screen over there again. Yeah. So fair point. Our card is hybrided. It's a verb now. Our card is hybrided, so performance will be different there too. I don't think theirs was. Same settings. Okay. 50% offset. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's see what it does. Get current readouts. Okay, there. And I am going to, what are we at for voltage again? 1070, we're not doing memory yet. So I'm gonna grab another multimeter, I think, and check the voltage while it's running. Let's do both graphics tests this time. Loop, run. See if it runs, get a score out of it. I'm gonna just hit record. I'll truncate that later. I don't know if we'll end up using it. Okay, so that's starting. See, there's a couple questions to check, but let me get through this run first. And see if I can switch these over. Volt DC. Okay. This is a much worse digital multimeter than the other one. But it will work. Where was I measuring? I was measuring right here. What's that amperage reading say, Andrew?
21.6.
21.6-ish. 1.1.
Oh, it just switched scenes.
Oh, switch scenes, okay. Let me know when it updates. Is it running again? Not yet? Oh, no, not yet. Okay. So 20, oh, I have it right here in front of my face, 20.8, 20.9, 21. So we are lower, definitely. We're lower than 1200 millivolts. I'm getting 1.15 out of the back of the card. 1.15 volts is what we're reading. What was our setting? 10 something? 1070? Okay. Well, we were at 1.3 when it was 1200 earlier, so certainly something's working. I mean, we're clearly lower here on the current, so that's great. The result was 73 watts lower. Okay, good to know. Firestrike Ultra, I don't use that right now. 21205. So let's just take a note of that in our notes, and then someone's saying did they run normal Firestrike? I'd rather compare against that because I have more data for that. So we got 10, 16, 13 megahertz. What was our score? 21205, 16, 13. What is the stock memory? 800? 800. Okay. So how does that compare to our previous scores on the old drivers? Stock plus 50%, which was 24 amps, remember. 24, 25, somewhere in there. Where's the calculator? Calc. So let's just call it 24.5. It was 308, actually, I recall. So this was 308 when I was checking it at the time. And this one, we don't have an exact number yet, but this shows about 21 at the high end, maybe? 20, maybe. What was the highest number you saw? Do you remember?
Maybe 22.
Maybe 22. So let's call that maybe 22. It's 270. So what is that? We're really not that much down. We're down 38 watts. And then what was our other previous score? So we're at 21, 205 is really, so we're seeing better here than here. So the frequency overclock is working. So we are getting better than we were previously, which I think this was 1592 plus 50% with no undervolt and no overclock. So we've improved over that by a bit. 21205 versus 21 or 20, 769. So we're seeing an improvement of 2%, which is really not that exciting, but is an improvement. And then we were at 21660 with an HBM and, no, just with an HBM overclock at 950 megahertz. So we're about the same place we were before. Some of that's probably a driver update. And then what was the request here? Firestrike Ultra someone wanted. So let's do Firestrike Ultra. No demo. Windowed, okay. So let's run that just to compare versus their numbers. So someone please remind me what was Hardware Lux's number. Maybe change the offset to 1060 millivolts to the same frequency OC, okay. Same frequency overclock. The offset's 1060 millivolts. Oh yeah, thank you. So, where's our stuff? There we go. Okay, and we're not overclocking memory. 1060 instead of 1070, I guess that's your suggestion. Okay, so yeah, reducing temperature will reduce leakage, correct. So it's not a perfect comparison. Enforcers NL heading out. Thank you for watching. Good luck with work tomorrow. Hardware Lux got 5519. Someone else is saying 5596. Okay, so somewhere in there. Yeah, 2%. That's a good good point. 2% performance boost with 10% power reduction is pretty good. All right, let's see. What else did I miss here? Frank Dremel, super chat, no comment. Thank you, Frank, for the $2. Much appreciated. Nathan Scantling, this is old chat at this point. You guys really need a Fluke 125B scope meter. I use one of these as an industrial electronics tech. Well, I've got the name of that saved from Ryan, the moderator, so we will look into that. Paul Hamilton, I think I answered that question, yes. Talgin Q, what advantage does Vega 56 have over the Fury X? In your opinion, is Vega even an upgrade from the Fury X or a side grade? I mean, it performs better. It's got a way higher clock. So it definitely, well, yeah, it's performed, I don't know. I need to look. I need to look at my data. Vega FE, clock for clock wasn't exciting, but these cards, you don't run them clock for clock when you're actually using them. Vega 56 is the more competitive of the two, if it stays at price target. Okay, so 5519 for Fire Strike Ultra. Is that what our target is here? So we're at 5166, 5519. Okay. Well, we don't have exactly the same setup as them either, so. All right, let's drop this some more. I'm gonna try 1040 and we'll check the meter and see if it's actually 1040. Apply, we're at 1613. Okay, run. Okay, so how is it gonna do with this? Oh, I didn't do windowed? Oh, I did. Okay. 1612, 1040. Okay, so we're targeting 1040 here. IC058, your live streams are great. I love seeing your test methodology. Thank you. I wouldn't call this methodological, but I appreciate it. It's really just kind of haphazard. Let's see what happens. And I'm on stream, so I'm not trying to like stop a whole bunch and collect data. I mean, clearly, because I didn't even hit record on that time. But thank you, I appreciate it. Glad that it's entertaining or educational or something. They overclocked HBM to 1000 megahertz. Okay, there you go. There's your difference. We'll do that next. This is looking good though. We're down to 21, 22 from something higher than that. So down 30 watts, 36 watts, something like that. Hasn't crashed. Let me check the back of the card before this is complete. Volts DC. The back of the card is showing. Okay, if we could actually work crappy DMM, that would be great. So we're showing 20.9, 20.8 amps right now. I'm not getting a good reading out of this. Oh, there we go. Okay, got it. So what are we getting? 1.155. That's like the same we saw a minute ago, isn't it? 1.155 V core. That's from the back of the card. Okay, stop that. What's our score? Did it even work? 21,295. Okay, so we're thin variance. Let's get up to 1000 on the memory next. See, we stopped at like 980 last time, so if we get stuck there, that's okay. Oh, I don't actually know that number right now. Okay. Not 1070, 1060, is that where we are? Where'd I go to? 1040. 1040. Okay, so let's go back to their settings. I got some more info from chat. So they were at 1070, right? Is that right? 1070. 1613 more or less. HBM, they had it at 1000. I know 980 is stable. I don't know if 1000 is stable for us. So all we're looking for is a 5519, I think. So let's run that. So hardware lux 5519 with I just went back up. So they were at Wolf Gainerain says 1000 megahertz HBM, P5 and 6 or P6 and 7 I think is 1613 and 1070. So that's what we're running, and I think they were probably offset 50%, right, on power. Have you tried using a Sharpie on the V-Core? You know, I haven't, but that would be a good idea to enraged commenters. An O-scope with a current pro. We've got a fluke meter on the clamped on there already. I do want to go to an O-scope at some point though. What is the result of undervolting? You're late, you say. Well, the fact of being late means that you missed a bunch of trying to figure out if it worked and how it worked. So we're currently at 10. We're validating on the numbers that Hardware Lux got per request of chat. Is that true? Apparently news H3 won their lawsuit. Did you hear about that? I'm just reading chat. Don't repeat me. I'll have to look into it later. With all the programs running, will it affect the score of the benchmarks? Maybe a little bit. But I'm not really running tests for review right now. I'm just running tests to see if it works. Yeah, I do think it's ignoring the vCore settings. Somewhat. I mean, somewhat. We're bouncing around because the scene's changing. We're definitely lower. If you missed it, we had a chart that showed some of the results, and they were actually lower amperage each time. But I do agree it starts ignoring your settings at some point here. 5462, what we're retargeting? 5519, that's pretty close. It's not bad. We're 20 megahertz lower on the HBM. What's our improvement over the last one? What did I say? We're at 5100 or something. So HBM helped out a lot. Let's just make another. This is getting messy, but Ultra 5462, 1613, 980, 1070. Okay. All right, we're new recording. Okay, so I mean, I think I see kind of it's kind of working. I'm not getting the voltages I wanted, or the wattage output I wanted. Yeah, I don't know, 1070. So I saw some people saying they got minus 70 watts or something. What were they getting? Like, what's the actual number, not just the delta? Does anyone know what their actual wattage, their power consumption was? And were they measuring at the wall or at the rails? Go to 1000. Yeah, sure, why not? We can do that while I'm looking at chat. $1,000. And again, keep in mind, I don't know what system they were using or anything like that. We don't even know if 1000 is stable. We're about to find out. Ethan Klein said on Twitter, "We won the lawsuit. Video coming soon. Huge victory for fair use on YouTube."
Nice.
Cool. Good for Ethan. On what is the higher core clocks you can push? I don't know. We haven't done overclocking yet. I mean, I did do overclocking, but if you remember that video where I talked 394 watts at stock, that's got to be at the wall, right? Yeah, that's at the wall for sure. So as you can see, it didn't like the 1000 megahertz on the HBM. They must have had a better bin than we did. Were they on 64? They may have been on 64. We're on 56, mind you. Actually, so were they on 64? Could someone check for me? Have you Sharpied your cat? No, we haven't drawn on Snowflake with Sharpie because as comments will lead you to believe, that means we respect the AMD IHS less because we used a dry erase marker on it to show where the dies were. Artifacts at 1000. Yes, that is definitely what we got. 394. Okay. So where's the Vega 64? Is it Vega 64? Vega 64, 1630, 1000 millivolts. No, wait, that's not right, eh? 1050 on 64. Yeah. Hardware Lux did both cards. Okay. 56. Thank you. Thank you for the clear answer. All right. So that's clearly not stable. 990 is kind of stable. I tested it last time. Is it still artifact? Are we going to need to reboot? Okay. You know, I'm getting bored of this. So we're going to go for overclocking now. I'll do the rest of the undervolting as part of the review process. I need to sit here more methodically and like properly do stuff and write it all down and everything. But we got an idea here. It's not as good as I wanted it to be, but we might be able to improve things when I can actually sit down and look at it more closely. Let's go for overclocking now. So we know 990 is roughly stable. 16, we don't need this at 1070 anymore. We can go to 1200. You know what also we don't need is a 50% offset. That's kind of pedestrian. So we're gonna go give it 100. This is kind of buggy, this power play table. It seems to do, it definitely does something, but it's kind of buggy. Okay, so Fire Strike. Benchmarks. Got the most data again on this one, so we're gonna go with this one. That's gonna re-enable stuff. Physics windowed, okay, all right. 1650 may be unstable, we'll find out. So again, folks who missed earlier parts in the stream, it appears that frequency reporting is working better than previously, so good job AMD for fixing that quickly. Because when I type in 1980 megahertz now, it crashes, rather than saying we're running at 2 gigahertz. So that is good news. So 4.2, there we go. There you go, there's a number I want to see. 29 amps, so we're definitely drawing like 3 to 4 over the 50% offset. That's pretty cool. What's our temperature looking like? I need to keep an eye on that now that we actually care about such a thing. 30C reported through Wattman. Set HBM state 3 to min-max. Okay, I will do that next time. Thank you, by the way, John, once again. Much appreciated. Greetings from Greece. Greetings to Greece from the East Coast. Min-max, okay. So we were hitting 28 to 29 amps, which is a 100% offset. I worked with Buildzoid, and Buildzoid I believe worked with Helm, who does BIOS or power play mods. So what is 29 by 12.3? That's 360 watts. So for a minute there, we had 360 watts going through Vega 56, which previously we were capped at 308. So that is a very clear increase. So that's really cool. The power play table worked, and that gives us more power budget to play with. That means we can get a higher stable overclock than previously. There, that's looking pretty respectable. That's what I want to see. Notepad. $23,214. 1652, 990 at 1200. What did I say our power was? 356.7, so 357 watts. Which puts us plus 50, no, not that much. Yeah, that's about right. Plus 50 over the previous 50% offset. I didn't see artifacting. Someone else might have caught it who was looking more closely, but 23,214, what's that improvement? High score previously, these are all bugged. Ignore these 25,000 results. Those are bugged, invalid. Previous high score, there we go. Stock card without the liquid cooler, 22,228. So we got a 4.4% improvement. That's not bad. I mean, that's better than the jumps we were getting previously. Cool. Can it go higher? 1672. Okay, here we go. MOSFETs are pretty happy. They're staying under 50C. We just need them under 100. We'll be good. Yeah, I use Notepad++ sometimes, but it's got a bunch of stuff open in it. Okay, is that better than 1070? Do you mean than 1070 millivolts, or do you mean than a GTX 1070? I need to check my numbers. If someone wants to check our review, the Firestrike, normal Firestrike 1080p results will have a GTX 1070 in there. So, like I said, we've got a, what are we at for power? Oh, 30 amps, there we go. I think we want to avoid like 500, but 400 is okay. Buildzoid actually, after he sent me these power tables, I asked Buildzoid for tables that did 400 watts. And he was like, after I started using them, he was like, hey, I think 242% actually goes over 500. Oops. But no, we're good. It didn't kill anything. Yeah, can't wait to see how much headroom Vega really has, someone says. I mean, so here's the thing. This is like terrible to do for normal use because you're just ignoring everything about power. The efficiency goes down really hard once you start doing these kind of overpower settings. Like the gains you get per watt are just so much smaller than stock or than the 50% offset. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're looking at right now. Where are we? We're at 28 with this scene, which is a bit higher, so that's cool. 47, 48 Celsius on the hotspot MOSFET, which means they're all going to be under 50. Are we outdoing... are we outdoing any of our previous... Where's our... Let me open up our Firestrike results. Vega 56 review. So 23,526. What did we get for Firestrike previously? I'll paste this in chat once I can find the right chart. Firestrike. Okay, so previously, where's our chart with all of them? Too many charts. Is that it? Firestrike power consumption. Okay. Where's our scores? Let's go pull up a chart here. Synthetic GPU. Okay, so previously we were at Firestrike normal 1080p. Let me sort this by descending, data, sort by graphics score. Okay. Okay, go ahead. So I don't think I have a chart actually generated for this right now. So we're just gonna kind of look at the numbers on the screen. Okay, so is this even? Should I generate a chart for that? That's kind of hard to see, right? So we just want, that's not even the right thing. Okay. So we're getting 23,526. What is that versus the previous score? Versus the previous score, we're at 23,214, 526, and we increased by like 20 megahertz. So 23,526, where does that put us? That puts us, Vega Frontier Edition stock was at, is that with like a fixed voltage or something? Let's pick one I know what it is. 1080 SC2, 22,893, and this is 23,526. Now the power consumption is absurd. It's more than 100 watts more, but we're beating it. So 23, what is that? What's that look like? 23,526. Sorry, I don't have a chart for this right now, so we're just filming the screen. 23,526 versus 22,893. 22,893. That's an aftermarket 2.8%. So 2.8% faster than a stock 1080. Do I have an overclock 1080 in here? I don't think so. Not right now. We do have a 1080 Ti stock. 1080 Ti 28. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Thank you. Where is it? 1080 Ti reference is going to be how much faster? 28,267 minus 23,526. So we're still 20% ahead on the 1080 Ti reference card, and that's with 360 watts going through the card. Now this is just Firestrike, mind you, but we're not really close to that right now. So okay, let's bring that back around and look at see if we can push this a little further. I want to try and wrap this up at some point. 1700. 1700, okay. Let's see if that's stable. I'll check chat in a second once this starts running. Did I write all these down already? What did I say we were at? Like 360 something? Something like that. I guess I can go up in the history. Nah, that's alright, whatever. Okay. Go. So again, we're under liquid right now. We have a Thermaltake Flow 360 millimeter cooler on there. Technically, if you buy it, it comes with 3 RGB LED fans. They are the advertiser for this stream, so check them out. We've replaced those fans with 2 maglev and 1 Noctua fan, which is driving people crazy because they don't match. But I just wanted to make sure. The thing is, we're running lower fan speeds here for the stream. So okay, so what do I need to catch up on? Discord. What's going on in chat? Yes, I know. Yeah, Firestrike's not real gaming performance. We know. I already said that. It's the point of saying that earlier. But this is fast and it's easy to do on stream and it's easy to validate performance because I can't trust the frequency numbers even though they look better than they used to in terms of reporting. Vega 56 is the new... Okay. That's not nice. After you find the highest clocks, try undervolting it. I don't know that we'll get a lot of room. We might be able to drop 20 millivolts or something. Disrespecting hardware again. I think that's a joke, but yeah. Three mark scores aren't translated to games. Yes, I've said that. Gamers Nexus, do you know why modular PSUs have weird pinouts on the PSU side instead of just copying pinout of the connectors? Makes custom cables a huge pain. I don't see a reason for it. We talk about that a little bit in our PSA don't mix and match power supply cables video. It's not standardized. It allows companies to do what they want. So like EVGA's got those universal power supplies where you can plug the cable into any spot. And they wouldn't be able to do that otherwise. So it allows companies to do stuff like that or to put LEDs in the connector headers. Now maybe the function would be more valuable, but that's the way it is. What do you think of the 8th generation? We'll look at that once the time comes. Okay. Yeah, it looks like some people are having trouble with... we're comparing Firestrike scores. We're not looking at gaming right now. It's too hard to do gaming tests on a stream. It takes too long. I'm just trying to validate an overclock that works. 23780A, that's an improvement. There's 1702, 990, 1200, 100%. Did you look at the... Did anyone look at the current at all? I didn't see it this time. It's like 30 amps again. Probably. Okay, so... I want this to fail so that we can work on closing the stream and find the performance limit. I'd like to get back to the other work. We have to shoot another video today probably. 1722, that's, you know, I really want it to fail, so let's just go a little higher. So that'll give us a performance ceiling. Are we sustaining? Allegedly, yes. Allegedly, we are sustaining the clock. 30.4 amps, thank you. I appreciate that. I can rely on chat to keep an eye on that stuff. Okay, so 30.4 max, 30.5. Okay, so we're about where we were before. What's 30.5? And that's 375 watts going through a Vega 56. That's pretty cool. Okay, found the point of failure. 1732. Got to reset this. It's nice having the liquid cooling on here. I don't have to worry about temperature at all. Just kind of let it go. Okay. Let me switch back to where we've got signal. How is the noise level? I mean, it's honestly not bad. It's I don't know how we can measure it. I don't really feel like it, but it's definitely way lower than my talking volume. Probably like 40 dBA or something. But I've got the fans turned down, so when those fans are at 100%, it's like I think we were at like nearly 70 decibels the other day, and when you walk by, you can feel like you feel the air pressure. It's a pretty sweet setup. I really like this hybrid setup. It's our best one we've done, I think, just in terms of like it's got the power play table mod on it, so that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to doing that more in the future. I don't know if it works or how it works on NVIDIA. I'd like to try it with their cards as well. But it's the furthest we've gone. You know, you risk the card at some point, but I don't really care. 1722. It's you know, it's my job. So if it dies on stream, that's fine. But it really shouldn't. We're well within the power capabilities of the VRM 990. Let's give it a little bit more room. $120, okay. Do I have to reset this stuff up here? Yes. There we go, okay. So let's set this back. I think someone just asked about how we measure the current. So we're measuring at the PCIe cables using a current clamp. The current clamp is outputting wirelessly to this phone, which was recommended by BuildZoid. I'll shout him out again if you don't know who he is. Search for Actually Hardcore Overclocking and go subscribe to him. He knows a lot more about this stuff than I do, but we're getting more into it. We haven't done this much with overclocking really in the past. It's pretty fun. So for anyone who missed the beginning part, the top number is a hotspot on the VRM. It's one of the MOSFETs. This is our current. There you go, 30 amps. 30.5 looks like about the peak once again. And we're trying to see where it stops being stable. We lost stability at 1732 megahertz. We're at 1722 right now. Did you get a response from board partners regarding BIOS modification? I'm assuming you're asking about my question I sent out about will board partners be able to bypass the locks that prevent the flashing from applying, and the answer is not really. I did not get. I think they're just trying to make a card at this point. A lot of them have been pushed out to September, from what I understand. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan linked BuildZoid's channel in chat if anyone wants to see it. So at this point, I don't know the answer to that. Board partners have been pushed back quite far on their launch with Vega cards. So yeah, we'll see. Once they actually have something more to talk about, maybe they'll answer that question. Okay. Try 1613, 950, and 1070. We did that a little bit ago. We're on to overclocking now. We did undervolting a bit ago. Let's see. Valley 123. Do you know why modular PSU? Oh, I answered that one. Tommy Thousand Faces. Does overvolting HBM do anything for overclocking memory? We don't have control over the HBM voltage. We have control over the, I think it's like a voltage controller voltage, which, talking to BuildZoid, there's not much point in modifying that. I don't know if his opinion has changed, but that's what I was thinking originally. So where are we now? 24,138. Hey, that's an improvement. 24138, 1722, 990. So we're validating with performance, and it looks like performance is saying that this clock is actually applying. And we were still at like 375 watts here. Yep. All right, so let's start looking at numbers. That's roughly our area of stability. So we are at 24138 versus, where was our highest stable number before? On the stock card, stock cooler, stock power, we have now boosted performance 6.5%. That's pretty damn good. We've also boosted power draw by, how much have we gone up on power draw? Like 22%. So 6% more performance, 22% more power, pretty good. Not really. Hey, Super Chat, thank you. It's been a little while since I've seen one of those pop up. Super Chat, Wishbone, $5. Thank you, Wishbone. I appreciate it. It helps with doing live streams for this long. I think we're going to spend it on fast food after the stream. Should I buy an Asus Strix Vega 56 instead of a 64 when it launches? Yeah, this is the question. Because, are we out? I don't know. Actually, I don't have numbers on 64 yet. I just got a 64 in. So I'm really curious to see if without the crazy power stuff, where's our number? 22659. I'm curious to see if we outperform 64 with an overclock on 56. Because if you can, then that's a better deal to buy an add-in board partner 56, overclock it, and spend less money. So I think 56 should actually be better. The BIOS lock really sucks, but I don't know if partners will be able to work around that. We haven't tested 64. I'll be doing that very shortly. It just came in yesterday. Can you drop millivolts? We already did that. Okay, so any other major questions? I think that's most of them right now. I don't see any more super chats right now. Okay, so I don't know. I think that pretty much shows what we're gonna hit today. We broke at 1732, held at 1722. It's not worth trying to find that 1 megahertz barrier. This might not be fully stable in games. It's stable in Firestrike normal. If any, just because people have been requesting it, I'll run one of these before we close the stream out. So Firestrike Ultra, you can use this number to do some comparisons with our previous Ultra numbers. And that'll push the HBM2 more, so might cause some instability at 990. We'll see. Did I not do windowed? Oops. Try to drop voltage. Okay, fine. We'll try to go down to like 1180 or something. Let me check the voltage on the back of the card. Whoa, 30. Holy crap. 32 amps.
Yeah, I saw it.
33. Yikes. What's that? What's that output? That's quite a bit more. We're 20. So we're hitting like 400 watts now. Card's probably not gonna. What's the thermometer say?
46.
46. Okay. Did it crash? No. Oh, it looks like it crashed. Right?
It's starting with the Nexus.
Oh. Okay. Cool. I was about to turn it off. What am I checking over here? Temperature of the GPU, I guess. Should be fine. I guess we'll see it once it closes out. Okay, looks stable. Super chat, okay. So, yeah, I was on the other side of the table. Super chat. Daniel Monsanto, thank you. Where is the security code processor on the die or elsewhere on the card? I'm not sure. I was talking to Buildzoid about this. I think our last understanding, last time I checked with him, was that it's on the die, which means that we're not going to be able to do anything about it, really. Some people on the Overclockers forums are comparing the different BIOS revisions on different cards, and they're trying to do some reverse engineering to unlock it. I don't know if that'll actually work, but That'd be cool. You can kind of get decently far with the power play tables though, which is a registry mod, and that's what we're running. Super chat, Elaine Abraham, $10, no comment. Thank you, Elaine. I appreciate it. I mean, again, like this is the longest stream we've done, but I needed to do all this work anyway, so it's kind of like doing my job while doing my job. Super chat, Tom's Bremsmit says, what is NOK? What is that, Norway or something? Kroner? What's your thoughts on liquid metal instead of TIM? Well, I don't know. I mean, like liquid metal between the CPU and the IHS and the cooler cold plate, that's pretty good. I don't really like the idea of it on video cards just because, well, I don't know. It's kind of not really worth it. Like our temperatures are already so low, it just doesn't seem worth it to me. So anyone wondering, we're at 59.56 for the score on that. I'll just go ahead and type this down for my own reference. 59.56. What did I say what were we at, 33 amps? So what was 33? 406 watts, holy crap. So let's not increase that power target anymore. I think we're gonna stay right there. At 1200. What did I say it was, 406 watts. And that's a offset of 120% roughly. Okay, so I said we'd do one more, and I need to read a couple more questions, so let's run one more just per request. I'm gonna bring this down to 1180 and see if it is actually stable. People are asking for undervolting at the overclock. I don't know, like, here's the thing. We're drawing 400 watts through the PCIe cables. Once you're at that point, undervolting is not really gonna, like, it just doesn't seem that important, but we'll do it. Let's see, super chats. Got one from, oh yeah, the liquid metal question. Yeah, so CPU, IHS, and cold plate. Yes, that seems worthwhile in some instances. GPU, I don't really like the idea of right now. It's kind of messy. Reginato, $5, I think Canadian, says, I just hope this helps. Awesome work, and no need to shout me out. Should have put that at the front, man. But thank you. Super chat, Zach Attack, $5. Thank you for this. Oh, thank you for that. Super chat, John, once again, $10. Whatever you get for food, get a large. I think that's what we'll do. I think Andrew and I are going to go to our local establishment, show them the stream, and demand sponsorship. Super chat, Dave Knife, $5. Go buy some Vegemite to eat. Can you even get Vegemite here? All right, what's the voltage readout? I didn't see the amperage this time. If anyone saw it, let me know what it was. 1.27 volts. Okay. So about where we were earlier, which was 1.3. 1.27 volts with at least 406 watts. I'm back at the chat now, so. Temps, oh yeah, good question. Why does this not have like a log? GPU-Z doesn't see it yet, does it? No, okay. It should be low. 59, 56. Okay, same score. Oh, and that was with the undervolt, right? That's okay, it did go down. Temperature. All right, one more. I'll keep an eye on the amperage while I'm at it. I forgot to do a windowed. Okay, benchmarks, ultra, custom, graphics, windowed. No. Do not include the demo. Okay. See how we do with this. Frank Dremel, $5. Thanks for doing this kind of gritty testing. Helps a lot. Well, like I said, it helps me a lot too. I'm learning this with you all. We're able to kind of figure out what I need to actually do once it's time to test this mod properly, put all the numbers down, do the game benchmark, stuff like that. Okay. Are you going to be in Scrapyard Wars 7 or 6 as a judge? Next question. GPU temperature, 32. So again, I think this is kind of inaccurate, but I mean, it should be kind of close to reality because we were reading below ambient previously. 34C, that's with the thermal take flow, 360 millimeter cooler on there, which is an Asetek 4.5 gen pump that I've modded to fit Vega 56. We use the same mod process we did for Vega Frontier Edition. And the pump's at 100%. The fans are at, I don't know, lower. Somewhere between 50 and 75, somewhere in there. And we're at 34 Celsius. That's pretty damn good. I mean, I'm happy with that. And that's at, what's our amperage? 29 right now. Hey, that's better. So that's 1180 millivolts. So the undervolting did actually help at this higher frequency. Any more MATX B350 X370 boards coming out? I'm not sure. I haven't heard about any lately. We are doing some stuff with a B350 board right now. Patrick is working in the other room on that stuff. Some power testing. Okay. Are you using Fluke on the graphics card? We've got a current clamp by Fluke on the PCIe cables, yes. $32.7 amps max, thank you. So, I mean, not a big difference, but something. It's something. Okay, so Onion Matt, will it run Crisis? I don't know if it'll run any games. I don't know what it'll do. Vega 56, okay, yeah, I'm just looking at chat. Yeah, 32.7 max. Okay, so there's your answers. We're at roughly, where's our temperature? We're peaking at 37 under that short test. I don't know, maybe we hit 40 or something if we did something longer. 59.56 was our score, and that was with 1722, 990 megahertz on the HBM, 1200 millivolts, which sustained at 1180, though we got a slightly lower score the second time around at 5826. And 406 watts here, 32.7 here, is that what it was? This is a mess, but I'll have to clean it up later. Okay, so there's your overclock. There's a 400 watt Vega 56 pushing 1080 levels of performance at 400 watts, mind you. So 2 times the power draw or something like that. But it's doing 1080 performance in Firestrike. Now, Firestrike is not a video game. Some games will support Vega better and probably do better in terms of the 1080 comparison. I know that. You will likely know that. Sniper Elite's probably one of them. Quake might be one of them. But for Firestrike, it's about tied with the 1080 SC too. All right, last few through here. Bin talks. What's worse, power? Let me get this back over here. Will it run Quake 2? Yeah, probably at 3000 FPS. Why not use Excel? Because I don't have it on this machine. It's just a streaming machine. Okay, so whose was I reading? Bing talks. What's the worst power draw you've seen for RX Vega so far? Well, I mean, at 120% offset, 406 watts. At 50% offset, 308 watts. It can't go past there. It is capped by BIOS at 308 watts or whatever that current draw is. So that's the answer to that one. Super chat, thank you, Tom Brasmitz, once again. 20, I think, Norwegian kroner. I think that's what that is. What's the difference between VID and V-core voltage? I've looked that up so many times, and it's not something we're working with today. But on the CPU side, VID is what you'll use to tell the CPU what to do. And like X299 is a good example. What were we hitting on that? 1.15 or something VID, but the V core was actually like 1.8 for 7900X. There are actual answers to your question online. I don't have it memorized right now. Sorry, I don't dig that deep into overclocking on a daily basis to memorize everything, all the voltages. I'm working on it. We've been working with BuildZoid. He's helping me out. My focus mostly on the testing stuff though. Super chat, Sebastian Krauthauser, $2. Here's 1 GB value SSD storage. Thank you. This camera, if I guess the stream is benefiting us in that regard. The camera for like a normal shoot is about 1 GB per minute with the lower settings. So super chat, Wishbone, $5. Gaming related question. Do you think the Xbox One X or Project Scorpio is a great idea? It is the first wide sail water-cooled console. Is it water-cooled? I thought it was a vapor chamber. We've got one coming in though. November 7th it comes out, right? So I pre-ordered that. We will have one. We'll be doing a teardown. If I can get it midnight launch, then we'll have a teardown that morning online. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. We're working with it. End result here. What is your opinion of the Vega series? Check back with me after Vega 64. I've got a review up for 56. You can check that out for opinions on 56 with the stock card. End result here for overclocking, once you start modding it and stuff, it's doing decently. It's drawing a hell of a lot of power for the performance gain we're getting, but it's fun to work with. I wish the BIOS were easier to mod. But does Steve ever cover games? We used to do a lot of, we did game reviews, we still do gaming benchmarks when new games come out. The thing is, lately there haven't been a lot of new games, so I haven't had anything to really cover with that. But Destiny 2, that's coming out. We're going to be benchmarking Destiny 2. A couple other games are coming out later in the year. John, once again, 56 plus 64 Crossfire, 56 plus FE, 64 plus FE. I don't know if I'll do all of those. I do want to do some mixed Crossfire testing. We've done them in the past. We did it with the 580 and the 480. And it was basically the same as two 480s. So yeah, I hear your request, and we will probably work on something like that. Live stream teardown for the Xbox? I don't know. See, like, that's the thing. If we live stream the teardown, I think we'll get more views on it if we film it and process it and edit it so that we can like just get to the point faster. And YouTube seems to distribute the uploaded videos a little bit better after this. Once the stream ends, this video won't get distributed that much. So I think we'll do, I need to make ROI on it because I bought that thing for $550. So we'll probably film it and upload it, but we might stream some other stuff with it. Ryan linked the Vega 56 review in chat for anyone who wanted that. You're supposed to convince me that I wanted a Vega 56, Steve. Our review has data in it. If that convinces you, then go for it. But I'm not a salesman for AMD. This is not my job. Okay, I think we've hit them all. So I think we got most of the questions. Can Vega be cross-fired? I haven't tested it yet. It should be. Ryan from PC Perspective tested that. They are focusing less on crossfire though, just like NVIDIA's focusing less on SLI. Not enough people do it anymore. Do you play games just benchmarking? Mostly benchmarking. Okay, so let's wrap that one up. There's your undervolting and overclocking towards the back half, undervolting towards the front half. Undervolting, I'm a little disappointed with. I want to do better with it. I think we'll have to sit down and spend a lot of time working on that one because like the software kind of lies to you. You hit a threshold where just the voltage stops applying. It seems to do whatever it wants. So I'm going to need to really sit down and work on that. And then overclocking, I'm pretty happy with. So overclocking looks like we're stable in Firestrike, 1722 megahertz, 990 megahertz on the HBM2, 406 watts through the PCIe cables, quite high. And that again is with a 120% offset on the power. So I'm pretty happy with that aspect of it. Not as happy about the undervolting, but we'll get back to it. I might need to undervolt without the power target offset stuff. Okay, cool. You only undervolted 20 millivolts at 1722. I know. Well, we got to cut it off somewhere, right? I'll see what I can do for look for the upload. Look for like the actual finalized data where everything's all nice and organized and everything. Okay. All right, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you those of you who donated, and we appreciate it. We'll do more of these. They are impromptu. If you kind of got surprised by this one, follow us on Twitter. I try to announce it there like an hour ahead, which is not that much ahead, but twitter.com/gamersnexus. I'll answer this one. Steve, do you listen to heavy metal? Last time I answered this, Parkway Drive and Trivium mainly right now. There's some other ones in there too, though. But okay, so we don't know how to end the stream yet. We should look into that. We know how to click the stop streaming button. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to get all the other stuff. We'll see you all next time. Technically, still rolling. They can still hear me. All right, I'm gonna hit the stop streaming button.